Hello everyone, in this video we're going to review my RockPals 200 watt 18 volt fold up portable solar panels. Full discretion, I bought these panels with my own money with the intention of using them to augment my the solar panels on top of my Kimbo, and RockPals doesn't know me, has never met me, and has no say in the contents of this video and in my opinions that I have based on my experience with these two panels. Before we get started, I want to show you something that happened while setting up the thumbnail for this video. Put this down. Actually, let's bring this over. So, I don't know if it's focusing or not, but see, that's scraped up my shin. These flaps, and what happens is it falls off and you're walking and this gets caught on one leg and the other leg comes forward and it's like sandpaper on your shin. Oh man, it's probably the second or third time this has happened to me. I try to be careful with these damn things, but yeah. So, and I gotta be careful where I walk because this is a cholla field. There's dead cholla things everywhere. Try to make sure I have a good path. So yeah, we're gonna review these things, and you're gonna see why after just 9 months of use I'm giving up on them, and I've got something else to replace them already. So let's get started. So both of these panels are performing the same. You have to take into account this is a small sample size. I don't have any other panels to compare this with, portable panels. I have some hard panels here we're going to see a comparison with in this video, but it's a sample size of 2, but they're both performing identical. So that leads me to believe this is typical of these panels, and probably typical of any panel constructed like this. I haven't babied them, but I haven't abused them either. I feel like I'm using them like anybody would use them. There's a few nicks here and there, and they've gotten blown over a few times. They're sitting out in the rain, and yeah, they've held up fairly well as far as wear and tear goes, I think. But be real careful where I step here. Yeah, so on this panel you can see the zipper is broken on a little pocket. It doesn't zip up anymore, and the little handle broke off. And yeah, it's just kind of completely useless as a pocket anymore. These flaps, as I showed you earlier, are from the hell. They're dangerous. Skinned my shins on these several times, and yeah, they don't stay stuck anymore. The bottoms of the panels, hopefully this will get into focus here. The bottoms of the panels, I drag them around a little bit to get them facing the sun every few hours or whatever. And they're kind of wearing through. But I think a bigger concern is probably the wires that go from panel to panel in this tight little juncture, getting bended back and forth and back and forth. Probably very thin and frayed by now. I don't know what exactly all is wrong with them, but I'm trying to step on some cactus here. Anyway, yeah. Are absolute worthless for me now after just 9 months. Unacceptable. Alright folks, this is our test setup. We've got 400 watts of RockPals panels connected in parallel versus a 100 watt Renogy panel. The Renogy panel is identical to two of the panels that are on the roof of the Kimbo. It's a hard panel, and you can pick those up pretty cheaply. And I just happen to have a spare one for this test. So let's see which is going to do a better job of keeping my one wheel going. Alright, so we got the one of the RockPals hooked up. It's got 16 watts coming out of it. Let's go connect the other RockPal. See what we get out of that one. Here's the other panel connected. It's a similar result. 17. Oh, there's some cloud cover come over, but 17, 18 watts out of the other panel. So both performing almost identical. Now let's connect them both together. Alright, so now we got both the panels connected, and we're getting 35 watts, 34 watts out of the two of them together, which adds up. So now let's switch to the 100 watt Renogy panel. We're going to unplug these. So 0 watts. And we'll turn that panel on. Now the 100 watt Renogy panel is on. We're getting 85, 90. There's some cloud cover coming over, but yeah, 80 watts, 89. Yep, almost 90 watts out of that 100 watt panel. 90 watts, there it is. So there you have it, folks. The 100 watt panel putting on 90 watts versus 400 watts of RockPals putting out only 35 watts. Those RockPals are completely broken and worn out, in my opinion, and not worth using anymore. This Renogy panel only weighs 14 pounds. The 400 watts of RockPals weigh 50 pounds. Now these panels says peak power 200 watts. I've never ever come close to 200 watts on one of these panels. But I have tested them with a meter and several times, and you know they test okay with the meter. They both test the same, and they're both performing the same. So the chances of both panels having some weird defect, the same defect, is, I think, unlikely. I think this is, like I said, typical performance of these panels, and in my view, just completely unacceptable. No, folks, these get a big thumbs down. I think you're far better off with something else. I just don't know the use case scenario. Folks, maybe these are intended for somebody that goes out on a weekend 2-3 times a year, maybe spends a vacation with them, charging up their solar generator on a vacation, maybe a couple weeks a year. So maybe a typical use case scenario is like, we'll say 4 weeks of use in a year. and I've used these daily almost for, we'll say, 6 months now. The first 3 months was, I didn't need to use them a whole lot with the summer hours, but as the days got shorter, I needed to have these out, and they just haven't performed, and they haven't held up either. It's just disappointing. So if the typical use case scenario is a month's worth of continuous use out of a year, I've just put maybe 5 or 6 years worth of use on these things in a matter of 9 months. I still don't see that as a value. The cost of these panels, in their garbage in 5 years, is still not that great, and certainly not after 9 months of continuous use like this for them just to be completely useless. In my opinion, the wattage I'm getting off these is just a waste of time for me to put them out. So I don't know who these are for, really. I don't know. I can't recommend them to anybody. I think you're far off with just a hard panel or some fold-up hard panels. These things, I expect other panels of this construction, typical, it doesn't matter the brand. I would imagine they're all going to be the same pretty much, because I think these RockPals performed, from what I found before I bought them, that they performed as well as any of them out there. So it leads me to believe that just any kind of panel built this way is just going to not have a very good lifetime. Anyway, folks, I hope you like this review. I don't really like reviewing gear. It's not my goal to review gear on this channel, but when I have something in my videos and I'm using them and you guys see them, especially when they don't work out so well, I feel I owe it to the viewers to give them a review, because they sometimes go out and buy this stuff based on what they're seeing in my videos, and I'd hate to have anybody go through the same experience I did just because they saw this stuff in my videos. So here it is. This is my opinions, and complete waste of money. Anyway, folks, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. I appreciate that. It helps the channel out, and most of all, have a great day. Make the most of your day. Bye-bye. Alright, folks, I promised you I'd show you what I replaced the RockPals with, and here they are. There's 3 Energy solar panels. These are identical to 2 of the panels that are on top of the Kimbo. I know they perform well. I've dealt with them before. Those are gonna slide in right up here in this rack that I attached to underneath the bed of the Kimbo, the loft of the Kimbo. And I view this as just a temporary mount for now. It's something I could do in the field. So this is the history of our solar harvest last month, last 30 days. Struggling to get even 1 kilowatt hour. I think it was 2 days it was above kilowatt hours. And then here you see when I added the energy panel. We're halfway through the second day, but the first day we got 2.88 kilowatt hours, almost 3 times as much. Alright, that's what I'm talking about. 420 watts. That's with all my energy panels connected, 6 of them. And this is in the middle of January. So I expect that to climb to over 500 watts during the summer.